Get ready with me for prom as I tell you how my medical trauma started. First of all, yes, I am going to prom. We are hosting a pride prom at the LGBT Resource Center. So I wanted to share my story of what happened when I was 9 years old. It was the first major medical thing I had been through. I like to say that it started my medical trauma. So it was the summer of 2013 and I was at Vacation Bible School at my friend's church, about 45 minutes from my house, and I had thrown up in front of everyone. We were in a church, okay, I was front row in the pews, threw up. So we went to the bathroom and everyone was like, oh my god, are you okay? But I had a really bad headache that morning, and the Bible study teacher didn't believe me, that I was like unable to literally even sit up with this headache, and she was like, you're fine, it's just a headache. And I'm like, okay, I feel like shit, but okay. And then I threw up later and she was like, ooh. This headache and nausea happened for like a few days, and we decided to go to the ER, and they just basically gave me fluids. They were like, oh, you're dehydrated. So they gave me fluids, helped the headache, obviously, and I went home. But then, like, the next day, the headache was back. So I think the first hospital we went to was Mott, U of M. And then the next hospital, a couple days later, we went to, I believe we went to DMC, Detroit Medical Center. So they actually messed up like really bad. They somehow treated me for the exact opposite issue that I had. They basically made it worse. I go home, and at that point I couldn't sit up or stand without extreme nausea, extreme headache, and stuff like that. My mom saw, once again, mom being amazing, she saw something in the Marfan Foundation articles like a month earlier. It was called like headaches in Marfan patients, and she kind of like made a mental note of it. And then like a month later this all happened. So we went to the pediatrician, and she was like, I know that there's something with headaches and Marfan syndrome, like we need to be taken seriously, and like we need to be treating this. And basically we had attempted to get the other hospitals to listen to us, but they were like, no, you're a crazy Google mom. So we went to the pediatrician and we're like, hey, you need to like refer us to U of M, because like we want to go to U of M. You need to tell them that we're gonna go into the ER and you have to believe us. So that's what he did. The pediatrician that had diagnosed me, he called U of M up and he was like, yo, these people are coming in and you need to believe them because they know what's happening. So we went back to Mott, and I ended up getting admitted for a few days, and they figured out that it was a CSF leak. And so I had a blood patch done. So that blood patch didn't hold because they sat me up too early. But they sent me home. On the elevator ride down to the car after being discharged, I said, Mom, I have a headache. And she was like, oh my god. So we literally went straight back up to 12. Long story short, 2 admissions later, and about a month later, hospital finally realized that like they were sitting me up too too early, because my mom was like, guys, you need to let her lay flat or Trendelenburg for at least 48 hours, or else like the blood patch is gonna blow. So they tried that, and guess what? It worked. So that was blood patch number 5. 2 months later, 5 blood patches later, about 4 days before my 10th birthday, I got discharged, and I missed the first month of 5th grade. I, from then, have had restrictions to, you know, don't lift above 10 pounds, don't go on roller coasters, don't jump on trampolines, don't do anything that could, like, make the duralactasia break again, or whatever. So that's how I was living my life. The medical trauma part, one of like the first memories I have is I was in the hospital looking out the window, and I see blood dripping on the windowsill, and my dad was like, what's that? And I looked down and I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, I think it's blood. I think your IV is like broken. And remember, I was 9 years old. But then the nurse came in and she was like, yeah, your IV blew. Like, we gotta give you a new one. So I freaked out because my IV had blown and I had to get a new one. So that's just like a very significant moment that I remember being like in denial that I had to get another IV, had to be poked again. And then the main trauma that has stuck with me is touching my back, like people touching my lower back. I cannot handle that because I got so many blood patches, so many pokes back there, spinal taps, that I just don't touch my lower back, or else I will flinch and be annoyed at you and probably spiral. Okay, I have to leave in 10 minutes and I have to set up. So that was like me testing the hairstyle I want to do, and I kind of got nowhere. So I don't know. I'll figure it out later.